Are we making moves in the National Football League now that the calendar has turned its page? It's officially post-June 1st, which means many teams and stars can start making moves. Our star, NFL insider Dan Graziano, is with us. Dan, we always hear about teams having to wait until that date, and now they're good. So who could be impacted here?
Well, you put up a couple pictures there, Randy. So I think you looked first at Jalen Ramsey. The Miami Dolphins have made it clear they intend to move on from him. Had they traded him earlier this offseason, that would have resulted in a dead money cap charge on their 2025 cap of $25.2 million. But having waited till after June 1st, that charge drops to about $6.75 million, with the rest hitting their 2026 cap. So it becomes easier from a cap standpoint to trade him. Now, the acquiring team still has to pay him $20 million, so we'll see if they can find a trade partner. But that's something to look out for. The other one everybody wants to know about is Kirk Cousins, still on the Falcons. Even though Michael Penix Jr. is set to be their starter, if the Falcons had traded Cousins earlier this offseason, it would have been a $37.5 million dead money cap hit. Now, if they do it, it's $12.5, with the rest hitting next year's cap. But the issue with Cousins is not cap, it's cash. He's making $27.5 million in guaranteed salary this year, and he's got another $10 million guaranteed for next year. So whoever acquires him is going to have to take that on or get the Falcons to pick up some of it. And right now, the Falcons haven't been willing to pick up enough of that money to get a deal done.
If only there was a team in need of a quarterback. Oh, hey, next Tuesday, June 10th, the Steelers start mandatory minicamps. And we still have no word on Aaron Rodgers, Dan. So at what point is Pittsburgh just going to start looking elsewhere?
I think we have a couple more months of this unless Aaron Rodgers makes a decision soon. Pittsburgh, they look at next week's minicamp. If Rodgers is not there, as a chance for Mason Rudolph and Will Howard to show what they can do, get some extra reps. If Rodgers is not there by the time they go to training camp in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, late July, then I think that's when the Steelers start to look at other options. They have said, their GM Omar Khan has said, they always go to training camp with 4 quarterbacks. Right now they have 3. So there's a spot for Rodgers. If he doesn't want it, then I would imagine they would get it to somebody else by the time they head to Latrobe in late July. But as of now, Randy, we are just waiting on Aaron Rodgers.
We're pretty good at that by now. Yeah. Steelers opening their season at the Jets on September.
Standing is kind of this, almost the same height as CeCe sitting. It's remarkable.
Sit down.
That's your cue.
Less humble.
No, you're like, what are you, 6'1", 6'2", something like that? Yeah, I mean, you're a tall guy. Yeah. And CeCe's so tall that even sitting down, he's tall. All right, Mike, if you were running the New England Patriots, how would you handle whatever it is that is going on with Steph Diggs? And I keep that vague because we're not sure.
Yeah, and I think that's the most important thing, Evan, is, we live in a presumption of innocence, right, in our society. And I would bring him in and say, hey, just tell us the truth, like what happened, and let the facts dictate from there.
So NFL teams operate with the presumption of innocence? Mr. T?
I did. Chris, I certainly did. I mean,
okay, all right.
Look at my track record. Look,
okay,
2 sides to every story. And, the other thing is, hey, Stephon, you're going to play for a short amount of time. And Chris, you're a great example of someone who's thrived post-career. That tells me a lot about how you comport yourself in your career, how you treat people, others, and you didn't just get here by accident. And I would tell Stephon, look, your career's, you're going to be on this planet a lot longer than you're an NFL player. Mm-hmm. And what do you want others to think of you? And does your conduct and what you did, is that consistent with what you want to be known for?
I think it becomes fascinating to see how this Stefon Diggs situation gets handled in New England and how that is a prelude to Mike Vrabel establishing the kind of culture that he's looking for. And speaking of cultures, we got to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's now June 2nd, Mike T, and we don't know who QB1 is for the Pittsburgh Steelers. With minicamp next week, is it ultimatum time for Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're past it. I think a new name we should really start talking about is Will Howard. Is there something about the Steelers that they think about Will Howard, who, but for a pretty bad workout at the Combine, may have been a top, 3-round pick, but the Steelers have made a lot more decisions than Babylon guys. And if you look at Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and the years of continuity they've had in those respective offenses, as great as Aaron Rodgers once was, he's going to be 42 in December. Are we better off with a young Will Howard that has everything in front of him that'll be chopping at the bit? So to me, the Aaron Rodgers thing, what are we really getting now at the end of the day?
Wait a second. Very quickly follow up on this. You, Mike Tannenbaum, at this point, we're sitting here on June 2nd. not Kirk Cousins, not Aaron Rodgers. If you're the Steelers, Will Howard's your starting quarterback?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, like, I would probably give him a very long look. And to me, I would take Cousins over Rodgers. 7 years younger, played better than he did a year ago. Like, certainly more, like, to me, his window, it's a more reasonable bet to say that Kirk Cousins will have a better year than Aaron Rodgers. Again, like, one of the mistakes we've all made in the front office is, like, what is the player going to do today, not what he once was.
Mike, you've been in this league for a long time, been connected to the league for a long time. How surprised are you that it's this organization and the Pittsburgh Steelers and this head coach and Mike Tomlin that is sitting here in June still having questions about who their starting quarterback is going to be?
Yeah, I heard Michael Wilbon say, the other day, like, this is an organization that has made the right decision for decades. They have a Hall of Fame coach. Yeah, I just, like, the term I use is, like, the inconsistent timeline of DK Metcalf, which I thought was a great pick. He's a point scorer, he's a home run hitter, and you give him $30 million a year, and you give him a second-round pick. I don't know, like, to me, that's not indicative of a team that's a rebuild.
Mike Tannenbaum, of course, ESPN NFL Front Office Insider on Sportsmanlike, presented by Progressive Insurance. Protect your auto, home, and business today at Progressive.com. Should we be paying attention to what's going on in Miami? Because Jonnu Smith may be on the way out. Jalen Ramsey's going to be on the way out. Christian Wilkins left a couple of years ago to go to the Raiders. Is there like a sneaky kind of tank involved there, or am I misreading this?
Yeah, well, I don't think you're tanking when you have, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Tua, if he's healthy. It's a team that obviously can score a lot of points. The Ramsey thing is going to be interesting. Reportedly, he's going to be traded. I mean, I will tell you this, like, it's very hard to make that trade. He has $24 million, so Team X calls and, like, yeah, we want a 4th-round pick. And Team X says, well, we'll give you 6. And by the way, you're going to eat $22 to $24 million. And then Miami's, exactly, well, we're not going to trade him. And the fact that it's come out, the way even Jalen Ramsey said, I'm not going to be there, is he ready to leave guaranteed money on the table, which is very unlikely. So, to me, those are more complex than people realize because you have to figure out money as much as the draft choices.
Mike T, last week, Joe Flacco said that he's not in the business of being a mentor for any of the young guys in the quarterback room for the Cleveland Browns. If you're in Andrew Berry's shoes, how do you handle that quarterback room in the quarterback situation as you move through the preseason?
Yeah, I think it's sneaky big news. I think, in my opinion, that the Jacksonville Jaguars will be the top 5 pick next year, which means Cleveland will have a top 5 pick. Best case scenario for them is Dylan Gabriel, Shador Sanders is their quarterback. Now they're sitting there with the top 5 pick. They can trade it. They can take the best non-quarterback. And job one this year is to let Shador and Dylan battle out. I think Shador wins that. And let's see what we have in Shador. And then I either keep Flacco or Pickett as the backup and then trade the other guy.
As a guy in the front office, how do you feel about Joe Flacco saying he doesn't want to be a mentor to other quarterbacks in that room?
Yeah, it's, we've had that conversation for years. Tom Brady, like a decade, came out and said, like, my job isn't to get the backup quarterback ready. That's the quarterback coach's job. Now, with that said, I always felt like it was important, and, like, we weren't always perfect, but LaDainian Tomlinson, Jason Taylor, just over the years, we wanted, like, an aging star in a room because they could teach